Thank you for taking your precious time to visit my presentation. And today, I'll present to you my own report for the Resume Project Challenge version 12. And this Resume Project Challenge specializes in electric vehicle analysis. It means that we will analyze data for an EV company called AtliQ Motors. So let's first get to see some information about this company. So AtliQ Motors is simply a very renowned EV company from the US. So this company is planning to launch their best-selling model in India. And before they do this, they want a lot of information about the current EV market in India. So they gave this task to the data analytics team of the company, and we are a member of that team. So we analyze data and provide insight for AtliQ models. So how can we do this? So they gave us 3 Excel files containing the data structure that we will do our analyze on. So I've transformed these Excel files into a data model like this in Power BI. And we will use these data to solve 10 primary questions that require a lot of analytical skills. And together, there are also 6 more secondary questions discussing more general topics. And that's all the base information that we need to know. Let's jump right into the first primary question. So the first question asks us to show the top 3 and bottom 3 makers of the fiscal years 2023 and 2024. So we can easily see them by these visuals. So we see knowing the information like this is essential for AtliQ models, as they need to know what makers are successful and what makers are struggling, so that they will decide the appropriate position when they step into the market, and also decide the right plans to compete with the top competitors. So you see, they will definitely need some plans to deal with Ola Electric, because it is clearly shown that Ola Electric is dominating the two-wheelers market in India. So question 2 asks for the penetration rate of the top 5 status in fiscal year 2024. So we can easily see them by these 2 bar charts. So information like this is also very crucial, because they need to know the penetration rate in different status to choose the state to start their business when they step into India. So we always want to start our business in a place with high penetration rate, so that our products will be sought after by the public. Moreover, from these 2 bar charts, we can also tell which type of vehicles is more favorable. In this case, 2-wheelers are far more popular than 4-wheelers. Just look at their penetration rate, we can easily tell. The third question asks us to list down the status with declining penetration rate. So Ladak's penetration rate has declined for 0.42%, while Andaman and Nicobar Island has declined for around 1% in terms of 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, as you can see. So I also found that when we combined the sales of 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers together, we found that there aren't any status with declining penetration rate. So this information is essential for AtliQ models, as they should study what are the reasons behind this falling penetration rate, so that they will find the appropriate strategies to operate in those status and to avoid mistakes in their own business as well. Question 4 asks us to show the quarterly trends of the top 5 EV makers. So the 2 line graphs like right here show the performance of the top 5 makers throughout the year. So we can easily tell that Tata Motors is dominating the 4-wheelers industry in India. So it's important for AtliQ Motors to know this, as the same like Ola Electric in the 2-wheelers sector. They need to decide the right plans to compete with Tata Motors when they step into the market, because as you can see more easily from this table, the sales of Tata Motors are far more higher than other makers. So question 5 asks us to compare Delhi and Karnataka. So from these charts right here, we can easily see that the figure for Karnataka far outperformed Delhi in most of the case. Just except for four-wheelers, when the penetration rate of DE was just slightly about 0.03% higher than Karnataka. And for me, the reason behind this difference is pretty obvious because just look at the India map. The size of Karnataka is much bigger than Delhi. So I believe this is one of the reasons which contributed to the total sales of the two states. As is to show the compounded annual growth rate, which I just simply called CAGR in terms of four-wheelers units of the top 5 makers. So as I mentioned above, Tata Motors is dominating this market, but there are smaller makers as well, which are pretty interesting. So let me show you. For BYD India, it has just like 2.5 thousands EV sales, but it has a staggering 566% of growth rate, which is very promising for a small maker. Question 7 asks us about top 10 status with the highest CAGR. So you see, this information is extremely essential for AtliQ Motors because they need to know what market is growing rapid fast so that they will be there to launch their models, their strategies, and their plans to get the most profit out of that market. So you see, we always want to do business in places that are growing very fast because there are a lot of consumers there. And we need consumers in order to sell our products. Question 8 asks for the monthly trends of the EV sales based on the last 3 fiscal years. So looking at this chart, we can easily tell all the peak and low seasons because they are the same throughout 3 years. So the peak seasons for 3 years is March, while the low seasons is around May and June. And I also noticed a very interesting pattern. So you see, in the first half of the year, the sales tends to fluctuate a lot. Well, from June to December, the sales tends to be pretty sustainable. So you see, understand this customer attitudes is also very crucial work for AtliQ Motors to do because they need this in order to make appropriate business decisions throughout the years. For example, they need to know what months to push sales and what months to just simply raise brand awareness. Well, question 9 asks us for the projected number of EV sales in 2030 into the future in terms of the top 10 status with the highest penetration rate in the present. So you see, this information is very important because it ensures the necessary data for AtliQ Motors to not just operate in India for a short period of time, but to do their long-term business plans. You see, there are many interesting states such as Maharashtra, which is not the highest penetration rate at the present, but it is projected to has the highest EV sales in 2030 at over 13 millions of vehicles sold. Well, question 10 demand information about the revenue growth rate. Well, looking at this data, I noticed a very interesting point. You see, the year from fiscal year 2023 to 2024 is a part of this period, but it only contributes a very small fraction to the total revenue growth rate. So I did a small calculation to get the revenue growth rate of the year from 2022 to 2023, and as I expected, the revenue growth rate from this period was far higher than the period a year after that. So I wondered what are the reasons why behind this difference. So after some research, I found out my answer, which is the FAME 2 subsidized scheme. So FAME 2 subsidized scheme is just a scheme created by the government to provide financial and other supports for EV manufacturers so that they can promote the adoption level of electric vehicles in India. So this FAME rolled out around this period, which is pretty close to this period. And because the year from 2022 to 2023 is the start of the scheme. Because of that, it benefited the most, which led to the observed revenue growth rate during this year. So what I'm trying to say is that AtliQ models need to be aware of these schemes like this, because if they utilize these supports effectively, they can significantly boost their revenue. That's all the primary questions that we need to answer. I hope it's been easy to understand so far. Now let's go straight to the secondary questions. The first question asks us that what are the primary reasons for customers using electric four-wheelers? This question is pretty straightforward. In terms of environmental concerns, electric vehicles is simply an alternative. It produces less pollution, so it helps curbing problems like air pollution. When it comes to cost savings, EV is actually cheaper than traditional vehicle. You see, EV doesn't require fuel or gas to run, and it also needs less maintenance as well. When it comes to government incentives, the FAME to subsidy scheme that I just talked about can be a prime example of this, because largely decreased the cost of electric vehicles in India in the last few years. Question 2 asks us how can we increase the adoption rates of electric vehicles in India. So for two-wheelers, some effective methods can be produce cheaper by scooters, provide discounts, or return money back when customers are not satisfied with the products. Or we can create schemes like the FAME to subsidize scheme. In terms of four-wheelers, we can provide tax breaks or lower the registration costs. These will reduce the purchase prices and therefore improve the buying rates. So the two most EV-friendly states based on my research are Gujarat and Maharashtra. These two states all provide a lot of financial support, and sometimes they provide no registration charges, sometimes no road taxes at all. Question 3. It asks us to verify if charging stations impact the penetration rate of the status. So this is the penetration rate, the top 5 status. This table represents the charging stations in these status. So you can see the top 5 status with the highest penetration rate all have the most public charging stations available. This is except for Goa. So I can confidently believe that charging stations definitely has a direct correlation to the adoption level of electric vehicles in these status. The question 4. Who should be the brand ambassador of AtliQ models? So my goal in choosing the brand ambassador is someone who will be both famous and morally respected. So because of that, first of all, I chose Virat Kohli. He is one of the greatest cricketers of India, so definitely he's very popular. Moreover, Virat Kohli is also an embodiment of inspiration, passion, modesty, and his commitment to a healthy life is insane. He's always well known for his heroic journey in the sports field. My second suggestion is Diane Mirza. She is a very successful actress with various awards, but more importantly, she is well known to be one of the most enthusiastic activists in terms of environmental concerns. So it's ideal to choose both options so that AtliQ models will leave a strong message that the company will produce vehicles that are not only just fluffy but environmentally friendly. What state should be ideal to start AtliQ models business? So my option is Canada. So there are various reasons for this. First of all, Canada sold the second highest number of electric two-wheelers and also the second highest electric four-wheelers too. So you see, Canada has effectively utilized the FAME to subsidy program, which accounted for 50% of total subsidized finance. And thirdly, Canada has the third highest penetration rate at over 50%. And lastly, Canada tops the country in terms of charging stations. And well, additionally, a standout aspect of Canada is the stability in governance. I mean, I haven't found any events that said Canada being unstable, so this state is very reliable to start our business. I'll give AtliQ Motors my top three recommendations in terms of business. So first of all, I think AtliQ Motors should specialize in building a comprehensive charging network, catering to urban or busy areas, highways, commercial and zones. The easier it is to charge our vehicles, the more customers we get. Secondly, they should invest a lot of money in training for their staff. We need to ensure that our staff is capable of all kinds of maintenance. This way, we can build trust among customers, clear all the uncertainty, and it can be an absolute competitive edge to advertise on the media. Lastly, it's a must to choose the right ambassador, especially when our brand is new to the country. Having reputable brand ambassador would immediately improve popularity and reputation of our brand. Thus, we have finished all the primary and secondary questions. Let's now get to our conclusion. So, what we have learned so far were AtliQ Motors gained extensive knowledge about the current EV market in India. They knew what are the leading makers, what are the leading status, the number of two-wheelers, four-wheeler sales, peak seasons, low season, which customer attitudes, CAGR, revenue growth rate, and penetration rate as well. And they also have ideas about all the essential information as well, such as finding the appropriate brand ambassador, finding the ideal state to start their business, and some important business plans, such as building charging network or staff training. So you can see AtliQ Motors is definitely ready to step into the market, launch their model, compete with challenges, and expand their successful business. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.